down, again down to about 35 degrees, and we age it for about a month. We wouldn't have to age it for a month. There's chemicals you can buy called findings. They have funny letters and stuff. And some you gotta worry, you're not allowed to breathe. You know? But we don't have any of that stuff. We don't use it. We're against it. I guess you would say we're pretty darn green. The only chemicals we use are in cleaning, then they're thoroughly rinsed. But there's no, we don't add anything to aid in fermentation. We think it's wrong. If I can't breathe it, I don't want to put it. And some of the stuff you put in, they say, well, it don't matter because you filter it out. I'm sorry, I don't filter that hard, so maybe I wouldn't get it all. So I just don't use it. So it takes us much longer. For us to make a lager, it takes about 6 weeks. The big brewers can do it in about 2 to 4 weeks. So it takes a couple weeks longer. But I think it's worth it. We have to have more tanks to do that. But our goal isn't to make, cheapest beer in the world. Our goal is to make the best beer we can. And that's what microbrews are all about. We're not out to make large production. We get 10,000 barrels, and my capacity will be about 12, and I'm done. Because the reason I got that big was mainly because I lost money. It's so capital intense. But we showed a profit. Our break-even was about 8,000. We're up to about 10, and we're showing a small profit. And if we get to 12, I'll be happy. So that's what it's all about. It's just like anything mass-produced, or is it craft-produced? And we're craft-produced. We don't have any computers telling us what we do. We do it. We turn valves ourselves and stuff like that. So that's what we're all about. Just like making bread. We make bread here too. We have a bakery up here. And it's happening. When we first started, we starved. Hardly anyone wanted out here. But now it's changing. We're the only element of the brewing industry that's growing is craft beer. Like I said, when we started, the whole industry was less than 0.5%. 10 years ago, we were 2%. Now we're over 4%, and we're going to be 10. So Americans are starting to realize, especially the younger ones, that there's something in life beside Wonder Bread, white American cheese, and light beer, and that's what we're all about. We do make bread, and we make beer, and very shortly we're starting our own cheese manufacturing. So I like to use that, and we're going to make the good stinky stuff. Like I said, white American, I don't need that stuff. I'm sorry. It's not real cheese. I'm sorry. Okay. Where am I at? So anyway, that's basically what it is. I almost forgot the most important thing. In 1920, it became illegal. What happens when something becomes illegal? It goes underground, right? Into the hands of the racketeers. It was a seller's market, right? Somebody figured out how to make twice as much beer with the same equipment. I just told you the right way, okay? Somebody figured they could make twice as much beer. All they had to do is add one more vessel and make the brew kettle in that little, like a brewery like ours, if we produce 10,000 barrels, could do 20,000 barrels of this new American style beer. The vessel they add is called the corn cooker. They start out the same as we did. Remember, I mixed the malted barley, drew that liquid, the sweet wort, now it's half full, brew kettle. And equal amounts of corn. The problem with corn, or rice, or any other sugar, it has no beer flavor. Corn is for cows, pigs, and chickens. It doesn't belong in beer, I'm sorry. They dumped it on top. Instead of being normal beer, 5% beer is 12% sugar when you measure with a hydrometer, okay? Was 12, now it's 24. Half barley, the right ingredient, half corn. Now it's 24%. They fermented it. Now it's, instead of being 5% alcohol, it was 10% alcohol. Then, right before they're ready to bottle it, they add the magic formula. It's called the hose. You laugh at that, it's on 96% of all beers made in the U.S. and Canada. I'm not saying it's bad. It is light, less bitter. Well, to me, light, less bitter is a politically correct way of saying thin. If you like your beers thin, buy them. Now, they're well-made beers. But no, they know how to make that type of beer. There's one beer they all make I will talk negative about, though. When I was a young man back in the 50s, I'm an old guy. In those days, you either joined the service or you were drafted. Well, I didn't want to be drafted. So I joined the Navy. I was 18 years old. I wasn't old enough to drink regular beer. They had a special beer for us called 3-2.
I drank it, didn't care much for it, turned 21, never drank it again. Soon after I got out of the service, I got this old diner, it's like a defunct diner up here along the road here is what I started with in 1962. And in 64, I got a liquor license, and it's been about late 60s. Some guy from Miller's came around to give me a sample of a beer. They said, new beer that Miller just came out with, it's called Miller's Light. And I said, well, I'll taste it. So we chilled it down, and I took a sip. I said, I remember this shit. And I said, well, when I was in the Navy, the 3.2 was cheaper than the regular beer because it's watered down beer. So, okay. So I said, well, how much is it? He said, the same as Miller's High Life. I started laughing. I said, nobody's gonna buy that stuff. Boy, was I wrong. The biggest rip-off to the American beer drinker. Light beer, if you drink light beer, either one or two things. Either you don't like the taste of beer, or I don't know. I don't know. Somebody says, well, you drink it because you won't get as drunk. That's true. 1/3 less alcohol. Let me tell you what I do. If you can't get drunk and then drive because the laws are strict. I have a glass of beer, 2 beers, and then a glass of water. 2 beers, or 3 beers you could have to be equalized. 3 beers, a glass of water. You could sit at my bar all night drinking 3 beers and a glass of water. I won't charge you for the water. It's silly. It's dumb. As far as I'm concerned, anybody that drinks light beer should have the head examined. Again, that's my opinion. 56% of all beer sold in the U.S. is light. Now the Germans make light beer too. You know what it is over there? 8%. They're a little smarter than we are.